Several politicians have expressed their views on the actions of British Prime Minister David Cameron, who visited Sri Lanka to participate at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Sri Lanka.
He came to Sri Lanka for a Commonwealth meeting. You do not have the right to discuss the internal affairs of a country as per the Charter and the fundamentals of the Commonwealth. Thereby, through his statements and his behavior here, he has made it evident that he has scant regard for the sovereignty and independence of Sri Lanka and the contents of the Commonwealth Charter.
First, we completely reject the allegations of war crimes levelled at Sri Lanka. We question the moral right that a war criminal who committed major war crimes in Ireland, Afghanistan and Iraq until recently has to look into war crimes in Sri Lanka. We are not saying do not look into our wrongs when you have committed wrongs. First and foremost, we reject these allegations.
තමුන් වැරද්දක් කරලා තියෙන ඒ නිසා අපේ වැරදි හොයන්න එපා ඉන්න එපා. අපි පළමුව කරන දේ තමයි අපි මේක ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරන එක.
Although Britain came in this fashion, we know that they came because they could not stay away. Since Prince Charles was coming, they had to come. From the time David Cameron came here, from the time the opening sessions concluded, he ran around like an ant whose backside had been broken. He ran to the north and met various groups there.
We are at a time when our country is gradually moving forward and there are people who cannot bear this even within our country and abroad. We need to teach these traitors what the aspirations of our country are. We need to teach them the pride of our nation. They stole all the resources from this country and numerous other countries and acted as a great power, and now they are telling us to correct ourselves.
Amnesty International says that international community must keep up pressure on the Sri Lankan government to address its human rights crisis in the aftermath of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting.
Steve Crawshaw, Director of the Office of the Secretary General at Amnesty International, says that the challenge for the international community is now to keep up the pressure on the Sri Lankan government.
Amnesty International reiterates that those responsible for past violations, including war crimes, must be held accountable and ongoing human rights violations stopped, irrespective of rank, stressing that the victims and survivors must see justice done to them. There are 2 or 3 players. It's time now for Action TV. Action TV revealed on Thursday the need to examine the credibility of the agriculture and food technology paper that is to be presented by the Central Province Educational Department as a revision for the upcoming ordinary level examination. Action TV revealed that of the 24 questions in the history paper distributed among students on Wednesday, 12 questions did not have any relevance to the history subject and were in fact questions related to the agriculture subject. The Assistant Director in charge of examinations at the Central Province Department of Education responded to the revelation made by Action TV.
I inquired from schools in all 15 zones, both verbally and in written form, whether something like this occurred. None of the principals, teachers or students said that something like this took place. Nothing of this sort took place. They said they received a good exam paper.
Action TV suspected that questions that appeared on the history paper that was distributed on Wednesday were in fact questions that are due to appear in the agriculture exam paper tomorrow. As a result, Action TV questioned the Assistant Director of Education if he could assure the quality of tomorrow's exam paper.
I cannot believe that a mistake has taken place. I checked the press that printed the paper. I could not find any issue in the exam papers that we have or in the exam papers that were distributed. I inquired from a number of schools. I even went to some of them to check if something like this took place, but I couldn't find anything.
UNP parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa says that individuals should carry on their political campaign with the blessings of the people. He made this statement during a function held in Panadura.
A monetary donation was made to the Jumma Masjid in Wakada Panadura under the Masjidul Pudu Olive program. All leaders in our country's political sphere have positive and negative qualities. You need to cast your vote after carefully considering both the positives and the negatives. If you say Sajid Premadasa should go home, then I will have to listen to you and leave. I cannot continue to remain in my position forcibly. If you say I have to retire, then I will have to do that as well. I cannot cling on like a leech. We should continue our democratic political journey with the blessings of the public.
Janata Ashirwade Janata Patumama.
Sajid Premadasa also made a monetary donation to the Sri Sugatarama Viharya in Horetudua last evening through the Sasunata Aruna program.
Now, views have been expressed prior to this as well regarding the UNP and clinging to positions. Let's take a look at few of the past comments.
There must be change in the party leadership. This party is going from defeat to defeat every day. Our supporters are not going to the polling stations to cast their votes. Party supporters are fed up. If the party is to be protected, then it must be taken forward with new leadership. If this party is to be made victorious, keeping everyone's self-esteem intact and by respecting everyone's ideas, then the UNP needs trustworthy leadership. Can we make the UNP victorious under this leadership? The people rally around the party and its leadership. If he steps down from the leadership and gives the opportunity to someone new, then the party can be rebuilt. We have lost 27 elections and this leader is still here.
Trade unions and even government ministers say that the primary focus of the upcoming budget should be to make allocations to ease the burden on the public caused by the cost of living.
Now, views on this regard were expressed during separate media briefings held today.
The Trade Union Coordination Centre convened a media briefing today to announce the proposals that they have submitted for the upcoming budget. According to the government, a family of 4 will need at least 49,000 rupees a month to eat, drink and clothe themselves. However, minimum wage in the public sector is 11,730 rupees and with allowances it could reach 20,000 rupees. There's a massive shortcoming here. How is this gap to be rectified? We submitted a proposal for 10,000 rupee wage hike for the public sector employees and a 5,000 rupee allowance to be made for private sector employees through the budget. We also proposed proportional increments for retired public sector pensioners. We asked that it be gazetted and that a unitary increase in the price index amounts to rupees 280. The Socialist Alliance too convened a media briefing today to explain their proposals for the 2014 budget. In order to calculate real wages, inflation must be deducted from the gross figure. When you look at the rise in the price of essential goods, you will see that people's real wages have decreased. That is why there is a request at present for a 10,000 rupee wage hike. We ask that the taxes on essential goods be reduced for all families with an income of less than 30,000 rupees. Senior Minister D.W. Gunasekara says that far more attention needs to be paid to workers in the informal sector who account for about 60% of the labour force. They do not have pensions or provident funds. They cannot go on strikes or unionize. Society does not look into them and neither does the government. Thereby, these people need to be provided with capital through the budget so that they can commence businesses. They must be given technology and skills. They need to be trained.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that everyone has a responsibility to safeguard a child's future.
The president made this comment at an event held in Dematokada today.
Safeguard your child. A government cannot do this task alone. Parents too have a responsibility to ensure that their children go in the right path and do well in society. The Channel 4 individual says that the Rajapaksa regime has to change. This is because he is of the view that not only in Jaffna, it is the Rajapaksas who sell king coconuts even in Colombo. That is what he had said and how he describes us.
There is a
picture he had portrayed to the entire world. He wanted to chase the Rajapaksa regime. When I am attacked, everyone here are also pointed the finger at. Some opine that the attack is only directed at Rajapaksa and not himself. No, that is not the case. They are saying this to the political leadership. They want to chase us. These are mere daydreams.
The Maldives and Ceylon Today newspaper celebrated its second anniversary today. The Maldives and Ceylon Today newspapers are published by the Ceylon Newspapers Private Limited and have a wide circulation in the country. The Maldives newspaper created history when it recently won the Gold Award for the Best Entrant of the Year at the Slim Brand Excellence Award presented by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. This was the first time in 12 years that a newspaper brand was presented with such an award. The national flag concept, which transformed the Maldives newspaper into a national flag, was awarded a Cannes Lion Medal at the prestigious Cannes Lion International Festival.
We launched the paper in 2011 with the objective of giving the reader something that he could value, giving space for dissenting voices, and give something that other papers haven't been able to deliver. And I think in the 2 years we have come a long way, and we have been able to achieve many of our objectives. And it's, of course, it's for the people to judge how well we have done, but we feel that every day we've been sort of making progress towards achieving our goals.
Captain of the Sri Lankan T20 cricket team Dinesh Chandimal says that the T20 series against New Zealand commencing tomorrow will be used as a preparation for the 2020 World Cup.
The first of the two-match T20 series will be played under lights at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium in Kandy tomorrow.
Sri Lanka, who will be competing in Group 1 at the T20 World Cup in Bangladesh next year, will play their first match on the 24th of March. There are another 6 matches before the World Cup. Therefore, we don't like to make any changes as a team. As a captain, I'm constantly looking at who the playing 11 will be for the World Cup. There are 2 or 3 players who need more work. I hope to field a good team for the first match and then give chances to the players. Sri Lanka currently dominates the World T20 rankings, and if Sri Lanka is to retain that position, then the host will have to win one of the 2 matches in the series against New Zealand.
Once the introduction of some young players, and some of those players have really stood up. So I think with the T20 games we have remaining between now and the World Cup, you'll see maybe a few of those guys come to the fore. But I think when we enter big tournaments, the whole objective is to find the best 15 possible.
Well, that's a wrap for Primetime News for tonight. For the News First team, I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. We leave you tonight with a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Good night and take care.
First at 9.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.